Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wumpa Classic Championship 2. And we're back again to do basically a recap of what happened this time in the semifinals, as well as the second place face-off. Just kind of give like an overview of essentially just what happened so far and just, pretty much how we got up to this point. With me is Katote.
Hello again.
Yep. And Colabro.
Hello.
So the first thing we're going to cover is the second place face-off between Acorn, Marcus, and Dark Lizard, which is pretty much kind of one of their last chances to kind of get back into the grand final, I believe.
Yeah, it was the second places of the previous round, the quarterfinal groups. And yeah, this is the winner of that will go through to the final chance foursome, which is another kind of sudden death race as well. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for any of the second places of the previous round to get into the grand final.
Yeah, so this race, it was very cheerful when it comes to people watching. A lot of people were cheering for Marcus, a decent amount of people were cheering for Lizard, and some people were cheering for the Acorn as well. Well, the race was kind of close, like it was like
it was
6
less
points.
close than we thought it was because I think both me and Desert Monkey were kind of not
Miscounted.
we especially I was too busy kind of focusing on the race to like bother keeping a good count.
Yeah.
Desert Monkey had
Yeah,
you had a lot to keep track of, so you did a good job regardless. It was kind of my fault that we thought it was a tie. We thought they were both on 77 points each at the end of the race.
Yeah.
But it turned out that that Marcus had 90 points and Dark Lizard had 82 points. The Acorn was a big third place. I think he had like 50 points or something, or 45 or something.
55.
Yeah, the miscount kind of came from like just me missing like a platinum or me accidentally, I meant to type 30 when I accidentally typed in 20 or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
so we did a little recount just to make sure.
Even with the 77 points, we still declared Marcus the winner because he got his last thing first. But yeah, it was still really close. Like 90 to 82 on an hour long point space race is a very small amount of difference. And I think a lot of it came down to Tomb Waiter for Dark Lizard. He spent about 6 minutes on Tomb Waiter, which he probably should have only spent about maybe like 2 minutes on. But he died a bunch of times, so that wasn't great. I mean, it was a very long race. There's a lot of stuff that went on, so I can't quite remember exactly in detail how everything went. But like it was a very entertaining race regardless. Like very very fun race.
I think one of them died a few times in either high time or flaming fashion, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah, Marcus died before the death route in high time. Which kind of sucked, and I saw like Dark Lizard died whilst doing a time trial in Hang'em High. Like there was a lot of stuff. Like it wasn't perfect by either of them, but both of them played really well. Like they were both really fast at the game. It was sad. It was sad to see Dark Lizard go, but Marcus was clearly the victor in this race. He played really well. So
and the Acorn said that he played the worst as possible. At least in the first half of the race.
The worst he's played all tournament, basically, is what he said, yeah.
His worst,
Yeah, he did pick it up in the later half, but man, he, Tomb Waiter really just did not give him a good time.
Yeah, so
another one bites the dust in Tomb Waiter.
Yeah, so this round's summer video is called the semi-final seminar, and basically, I think the lesson for everyone today is be careful on Tomb Waiter because it can really fuck you up. Because as it's already hurt a lot of people in previous rounds, I believe. Tomb Waiter.
It has.
But this round especially, it affected so many people. There was a total of 4 crash 3 races this round, and I think all of them except for my race with Cola, someone had an issue with Tomb Waiter. So yeah, a serious issue too, not just a normal issue, but a serious issue. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the race, Desert?
Both Marcus and Dark Lizard were pretty close in points overall, but Dark Lizard was kind of he reached got the low levels a lot faster than everybody else. But Marcus was getting a lot more platinums compared to everyone else, so he kind of came down to more points than anything.
If Darkness got more plats and didn't choke on Tomb Waiter, he might have won.
Yeah, well, it was actually interesting because it was like a backwards scavenger hunt race, and by the end, I think Dark Lizard had gotten to he'd done level 1. So his only real choice was to go and do either I think it was like I think he got everything in
Hang him high. No, he got the gold relic.
Oh right, so his only real choice would be like to go to Ski Crazed or get the gold or get the platinum relic and hang him high. So if the race did end up going for a little bit longer, like say like 4 more minutes, I don't know what he would have done. Like I guess he would have just prayed for a platinum on hang him high. Whilst like Marcus, he didn't kind of like get to level 1 nearly as quickly as Dark Lizard. He kind of stayed on a few other levels and did them first. And so that's what makes me think that maybe Marcus was always going to win that race, because even if Dark Lizard didn't struggle in Tomb Raider, because he would have had a little bit more opportunities to do things. Although Marcus had already got the platinum relic in Hang 'em High, so he couldn't have done that one. So he would have had to go to Ski Craze.
And the Lizard had to mute himself a bit in the race, so that might have made him play a bit.
Yeah, he got interruptions, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. He played really well despite that.
Anyways, moving on from that, we can talk about the other races that happened indirectly in the semifinals. The first one we can cover, I guess, the first one that happened was the Psyche Gamer versus Torzigo. We can talk about the match one first. So the match one was Crush 3, and they had to get relics in that one, and I think it was as many relics as possible in a certain amount.
Psychic was leading for a while, just because he like I think Toto got a few golds and Psychic got like an extra platinum or 2, but eventually it got to a point where it's kind of the levels were like running out, and Psychic had to go to the aforementioned Tomb Raider, where he died on 3 separate occasions in that level. He died once right near the end on like he was trying to jump onto like the red slidey thing and he failed.
Yeah.
The second time he jumped too high and hit the ceiling on that same area, which made him unable to double jump, and he kind of drowned because his like tornado spin was like kind of too low. And then another time he mistimed another red slidey thing. Yeah, like I've always had that trouble with Tomb Raider, that blue gem path. I don't know why he did the blue gem path. He could have just done the normal path, and I think it would have been a lot faster, especially because you can get 3 Akarakus, and that's what Toto did. He didn't need to get the blue gem. Like there's other races like the scavenger hunt races where you should get the blue gem whilst you're doing the relic, but in that one he didn't have to, and he did that path, and that was very silly, and that ended up.
I think the blue jump path is faster for a few seconds than if you really play well.
Okay, all right. Well, I feel like it did probably cost him the race. His issues in Tomb Raider, like the difference in score was between them was 12 points. So that's about like 4 platinum relics. I mean, he did spend a lot of time in Tomb Raider. He could have possibly, like, he didn't even do Orient Express, which is like a level you would think, oh, at least he would do for the gold, right? It's very quick. He didn't even do Orient Express, so he would have had more time to do things if that didn't happen. I know like Vinny Huber was in the call, and Vinny was just kind of like yammering on about random things. That might have interrupted his focus a little bit as well. Unfortunately.
I mean, he was talking about the relics and stuff.
Yeah. He was talking about developer times and stuff like that. So but Toto played extremely well in that race.
Anyways, the second match, I would like to talk about this one because it was a very good match, and it was between again the same guys, but in Crash 1 this time. And the goal was they had to 100% the levels that had the Cortex bonus rounds in them, and get the keys in there, and do the levels 100% the levels that are unlocked by the keys. So for a lot of time in the race, it was pretty tight between them, and the real madness began when they were doing Sunset Vista, and when Toro died in Sunset Vista after Psyche Gamer asked Toro to die in Sunset Vista. And that was pretty funny. And after that, Psychic was in the lead and leading into the last few levels, and Psychic was doing Fumbling in the Dark, which was the last level he had to do before doing the bosses. And he died a few times in there, and then managed to give Toto enough time to catch up and beat him at the end.
Yeah, both of them struggled in Sunset Vista. I think Psy died like 3 times or something in Sunset Vista. It was like one time it was kind of 2/3 through the end, the other time was like halfway through the end. So like that level caused some issues, but yeah, it really came down to fumbling versus whole hog. There was a point where they'd all done everything except for those 2 levels, and one person had to do whole hog, one person had to do fumbling.
And both of them were not having fun in those levels because
yeah,
both of them were
like
dying a lot.
Toto had done fumbling like in one go, and Psychic had done whole hog in one go, but either of them trying to do the other levels was struggling. But like whole hog, I mean, it's a lot quicker level and it's a lot easier level than fumbling in the dark. So yeah, it really came down to Toto beat fumbling whole hog in a couple of deaths, whilst Psychic, like struggled quite a bit in fumbling, and then yeah, basically Toto won by like 1 or 2 minutes. But yeah, it was a very close race. It could have gone the other way too, and because Toto had won 2 out of their best of 3. There was no third match. There could have been a third match if they wanted to, but there was no real reason for it. And that meant that Toto was through the grand finals and Psychic was to go to the final chance foursome.
So after Psychic Gamer and Toto Zigon, we had Kotote and myself match up against each other in the semifinals. The first game we had to do was actually Crash 2, then Crash 3, and then Crash 1. The first race was Crash 2. It was all of the races were bingo races. That was Ratchet's idea, and we wanted to have all the races be in a different variant of bingo. So
yeah, so something different from the standard like race to 13 lockout or like timed lockout. Yeah.
For the first race, we did a snake Crash 2 bingo. It was interesting because Ratchet didn't Kotote didn't mark off any goals until
for the entire race, basically. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. He wanted to snipe me from a goal that
I would not call a snipe. Like that was there was a goal which was like complete a bonus round from I think it was like 5 warp rooms, right? Or 4?
Yeah, from different warp rooms or something.
Yeah. And it was basically instrumental for me being able to kind of progress in the race. It wouldn't have meant that I would win necessarily if I got the goal, but it would have helped me greatly. So and I knew that Cola was possibly going for it because he'd already done bonus rounds in another goal, and that was like the goal directly below where he was going. He could have gone left or right, but I knew that probably he was going to go for it. So I knew I had to get it quickly, but unfortunately that was too slow, and he got that goal. And then because he had done that, it meant that 2 of the goals I had done were completely kind of wasted. There was no reason for me to have done them, really, which meant that I had to go completely into like a different path. Thankfully, I hadn't marked anything off yet, so it meant I could completely change my route. But it was way too late to do anything, and I only ended up getting 1 goal by itself. I could have, if I wanted to, I could have marked off 2 goals, but it would have meant that I was cut off, which I guess would have been still better than marking 1 goal. I mean, Snake is like that kind of game where if you, it's not that surprising if someone marks off like 7 goals and a person marks off 2. That's just the kind of game Snake is. And Cola played. You were extremely fast in that race. That's what it came down to. You were able to do so many goals so quickly, and I was unable to. I don't think I even played particularly badly, but I was just too slow. Yeah, it was a very fun race. I really enjoyed that race, but I got kind of destroyed in that one.
I guess for the most part, the strategy is a bit interesting because it was both snake and lockout, so you can technically just cut like one person off on the board.
Yeah.
And just trap them.
That's right. I could have tried to do that to Cola, but I thought that I wouldn't be fast enough, and if I tried to do that and I failed, it basically would have been a whole lot of wasted time. So
yeah, it's like a gamble.
Yeah, it would be a serious gamble, and I don't think it would have paid off. I mean, it would have been fun. It would have been interesting if I tried to do it, because then it would, like, I don't know. But if I failed, I think it'd be even more humiliating than how I ended up losing in the end.
So after this, we did our Crash 3 race in a different day, and this one was a draft, Crash 3 draft bingo. So this means that we flip a coin, who will pick a goal first. So whoever picks first, then he picks 1 goal. The second guy picks 2 goals, and then they switch from 2 goals each, and until there's only 1 goal, that can be a wild card, or in this case, the last, in the wild card in this case, or it can be like the last goal if it's tied or something. So how this actually worked is, I think Kotote from the start got the better goals, better synergy goals, and I got some alright goals, but some I miss like interpreted the time I have in this race. Like
Right. Yeah.
I thought I would have more time to get the stuff, but I was wrong, and I chose some goals that there's no way you can do in like 30 minutes or 40, however.
Yeah,
And
I got some really easy goals in there. I think I got like
yeah,
Aku Aku's in 5 levels or something like,
yeah,
and like
and
yeah,
the green
yeah,
exclamation marks.
and like LP 8 crash levels, which just means just finishing them. So
Yeah,
yeah, I had a lot of very easy goals, and I think that's what it. I mean, I think we both played pretty well, but the draft
and I don't.
thing, like
Yeah.
yeah,
I wouldn't say I played well. I mean, I did not bite the dust in Tomb Raider like everyone else.
that's right.
I
Yeah,
did it,
yeah,
but after that, it was doing alright. And then when I came to Tale No Tales, well, that was my Tomb Raider. Like that was my kryptonite, and I was stuck in the relic of Tale No Tales for solid 6 minutes,
oh
7 minutes.
dear, oh dear. I
Yeah,
didn't realize it was that bad.
it was very bad, and it kind of cost me. That's not kinda, but probably cost me the race.
Yeah, well, the final
It would have
score
been
was 7-5.
if I didn't. Yeah, if I didn't mess up there, it would have been a very close match. Like it would have been either 7-7 by him or me winning, or maybe 8-7 for me. But because I messed up so much in Tunnel Tales, I gave him the win pretty much after that. I knew that there was no comeback from that. And I tried to do like Dingodile, like defeat 3 bosses. And if I didn't do Dingodile, probably I would have gotten another goal. But still, it wouldn't have mattered because he would have had one more goal than me. And yeah, they definitely would have been tied if I didn't chuck like in Tunnel Tales, because I would have done 3 bosses and I would have done Sphinxinator, Blue Gem, Path Gem in those 6 minutes that I had. So it would have been tied. The question was, or I would have been leading like 8-7, or yeah. But the question would be who got the last goal, pretty much, if that happened. But Tunnel Tales happened, so it doesn't matter. And he actually won, so to everyone's kind of surprised. But it was kind of clear from the start that he has an advantage. So
yeah. I mean, it was if you were to win that, you would have proved just how good of a player you were, because I had like much easier goals to do.
Yeah.
So the last race was Crash 1. This was done right after the Crash 3 bingo, and it was a non-lockout. And I think this one was actually pretty close. I think, what was the score in the end? It was like 11-9 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like it wasn't. I think once again I went for kind of easier goals, and I would have had a chance if I played a little bit better. I made some mistakes here and there, but I think I played pretty well. But yeah, came out down to Cola just being just a better player than me, pretty much. You know, he's able to get the gem and generator room, and I died in the level. So there was that, for example. That cost me a goal.
And I also did Sunset Vista twice. Once I did it with all the any percent skips and stuff you can do, which saved like around 1 minute. But it was still like I did one level for like 5 minutes, because I didn't realize that the levels is good for this board. If I did it only once, then I would have saved like
so
2
you
minutes.
could have gone in there, just got the Cortex tokens, finished the level. I mean, got the key, finished the level, and then you would have gotten but instead you had to do those in 2 different settings basically, because you forgot to do the key basically.
Yeah, and I would have gotten maybe 2 more goals if I didn't do that.
And yeah, Sunset Vista is like one of the longest games, longest levels in the game too. So yeah,
I think it's the longest. It's close.
I think it's probably the longest. Yeah.
Because of Darkness and Fumbling in the Dark, I think Sunset is the longest one though. So yeah, it was an interesting match. I didn't make any mistakes apart from routing mistakes. I didn't make any in-game mistakes. Say, like I didn't die anywhere. So
I think I probably did. But it wasn't really too bad. I was very happy with my performance. Honestly, to be honest, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
But you know, same for me. But not proud of my routing with Sunset Vista. But other than that, it was good. And I was expecting fully to die in Whole Hog at least once, which I didn't. So I was good. That's our 3 games. We're the only ones that actually did all the 3 games.
That's right. I guess we'll move on to a Verso versus Abdul. So the
Yeah.
first race, I don't think I was there for the first race.
Yeah, I was the only one there. The race, it was interesting. It was get as many gems as possible in only platforming levels, and both of them did good, and it was very close race until the end, with Abdul winning for 1 gem difference. And the Verso really kinda didn't try that much because he had very bad route. He did some levels that he should have not have done. Instead, he should have done like some double gem levels.
Well, I
And
mean, okay. To be fair, most of the only reason that he had a chance of winning is because Abdul just really screwed up in Tomb Raider. Like,
yeah,
he spent so long in that level. I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes.
I think when I was watching Abdul, I was like, no, Verso got this. Verso got this. No way he chose this match. And after this,
yeah,
then
like
he
it was just really like I think it was even worse than Psychic Gamer in Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I think Abdul suffered in there for like several like many attempts.
I think and Abdul plays without the shadow, so he can't see where he's landing. So
I
the
see.
plugins that he's using, he doesn't have a shadow, Crash's shadow dropping, and it made it a bit harder. But and he like spent once in doing this in the tornado, and he hit like the box, and he didn't land on the platform. It was very weird. Stuff like this happened in the race, which everyone was thinking, like probably watching, like, oh yeah, this is an over match.
Well,
Abdul's gonna lose.
it's both of their worst games.
I don't think it's Abdul's worst. It's close between Crash 2 and 3 for Abdul.
Right, okay.
His worst game.
It was the platforming levels, so I would have thought Averso would have done pretty well because he's good at Crash 2, and the platforming of Crash 3 isn't too different to Crash 2. I guess the extra is like the extra like abilities and stuff like that. And Averso did do pretty well. It really just came down to he just didn't know what any of the levels were. He didn't spend 5 or 10 minutes just going over every level and working out, okay, what does this level have? What does that level have? So he could have easily beaten Abdul if he went to high time at the end instead of hang 'em high. He would have got 1 more gem from that level. And then he thought that for some reason Tomb Time uses the green gem.
He didn't know which future level has the green gem pack.
Yeah.
So
he really...
Definitely not that one.
He really just blew it. I'd say it was totally his fault for losing. He could have made a meal out of Abdul really failing in Tomb Raider, but he just kind of just didn't try, and very unfortunate. It was very very sad race, that one. I think that Averso really had a chance and he threw it all away.
I think so as well.
And I think it's a similar kind of note with Crash 1, which was their next race. It was like a race to 100% all the Brio levels and do the bonus rounds. And for some reason he thought that he had to do the Brio bonus round at the same time as he 100% of the level, like wouldn't count unless when there was no clue that was the case. And
so he failed the slippery climb Brio bonus round, and he left the level.
Yeah, that's
not
right.
Knowing that.
Yeah, he could have still could have gotten the gem if he wanted to. So I think he went back into the level, failed the Brio bonus round again, finished the 100% of the level, but then had to go back later to do the Brio bonus round again. So, and then also he just, unfortunately, this isn't his fault or anything, but yeah, he had a really hard time in Toxic Waste and kept on dying and stuff like that.
And Scary Machinery.
And Abdul won by quite a bit in that race, even though it was only 20 minutes long. Yeah.
And Abdul did die a few times, but it wasn't enough for Averso.
Did Abdul really die a few times? Because he died.
Oh no, he died in Slippery Climb.
Yeah,
once,
but that was it. I think that was literally the only time he died. He played pretty well throughout that whole race. Really surprising. Abdul's just really good at all Crash games, it seems. I feel like Averso could have done better if he was just in a better mindscape. Like, if you compare his performance in round 1 to his performance now, it's like night and day. I don't know what's going on. I think he's going to try to do a lot better in the Final Chance foursome. I think that probably Averso would have had a better time if he picked a goal that wasn't so linear. It would have meant that he wasn't stuck on doing certain levels, which he didn't necessarily like. So I think it came down to just the goal decision by Averso there was a very bad idea. He's very good at Crash 1, and he could have picked something that was more akin to his kind of likings. So that and the race was only like pretty short. But yeah, good luck to you, Verso, in the final chance force.
So, anyways, I'm gonna add about the total games played. In this round, everything stayed the same except Crash 1, 2, and 3, of course. And we have 14 Crash 1 races now, 29 Crash 2 races now, and 26 Crash 3 races now, which bumps total number of races from 79 to 87, I believe. So 8 races.
I guess that goes to show people kind of like Crash 2 and 3 a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The final chance foursome will be Crash 1 and 2 mainly in both games, mainly because the
Oh no.
second place foursome was Crash 3, so we just made the decision to do the other 2 games for the final chance. So yeah, I guess that will count as like both a Crash 1 and a Crash 2 race.
Okay, so moving on to Rotipot, our favorite races in semifinals. So I guess we'll start off with myself. So my favorite race in this round was definitely Psyche Gamer versus Toto Zigam round, match 2. Match 2 was my favorite race of this round because it was Crash 1 and tight Crash 1 races. There's something about them that's very interesting to watch. You know, when it's that close, I was on the edge of my seat, and it was great watching it. And I was like, who's gonna win? Like, geez, it's so close. It can go either side. So yeah.
It was
What about
surprisingly
you?
close. I think most people believed that Toto would have it in the bag, and
Yeah.
it wasn't quite that way. Yeah, definitely Psychic could have pulled out a surprise victory if he just played
Yeah.
a tiny little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever beaten Toto. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm. What about you, Dessert Monkey Jockey? What's your favorite early part? Favorite syntax?
Probably say Abdul versus Verso, match 1. I guess for a similar reason. Guys, I think they're kind of fairly equally skilled, and it's pretty hard to like tell who's gonna stay in the lead until like the last moment when, well, Abdul managed to just pull one gem out of nowhere at the very end.
Yeah,
Because he did Sphinx.
I would say that race too if it wasn't so heartbreaking. Just seeing how Verso could have possibly just taken it and kind of threw it away, unfortunately.
Mm.
I know that sounds really harsh. I just it would have been so much of a good meme if Verso won a Crash 3 race because he kept on saying like it's his worst game and he'll never win a race and stuff like that. It would have just been amazing if it happened.
It almost happened to you. So
It almost happened. That's right. It was really close. Yeah.
So what about you, Kotote?
I really liked the second place face-off. I think it was a really entertaining race, and it wasn't incredibly as close as we thought, but it was still very close match. And I really liked the goal and everything. So I guess that'd probably be my Rotopod. But I will say that like my races against Colipro, all 3 of them were I wouldn't say any particular one of them really stood out. The one that I won in was good, of course, because I won. But like all 3 races were really good. So yeah, like I'm gonna say probably like a tie between the second place face-off and our just 3 races in general. I know I'm like massively cheating by suggesting all this stuff, but if I was to suggest races to watch, it will be them. And yeah, I'm very unfortunate that Dark Lizard was eliminated. And I think he probably is better than me as well.
I guess that proves that Slavs are good as piranha or something. Anyways, I guess that's it from us, guys. I hope you enjoyed the semi-final seminar we had to give you, and hope you enjoyed our opinions. Hope you enjoyed the discussions, and I guess we'll catch you in. Well, after the grand finals, maybe we'll do a grand finals. Something. We'll call it
Yeah.
something.
I don't know, grand final. I don't know. I can't even think of one anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do one more.
Yeah. And just remember our lesson here: if you're gonna do Tomb Raider, watch the fuck out. That's all I can say.
Also, tell no tales if you're doing the relic on that.
Apparently, just
watch
don't
out.
do Tell No Tales. It's a shit level. I think that's a lesson for today as well. Just don't do it. It's
Yeah.
very bad.
Apparently, just wherever there's water, it's a bad idea.
That too. Yeah, all of those levels are very bad.
Alright, see y'all later.
Goodbye again. Are you gonna say goodbye, Adam?
All right. Oh yeah.
He's not.
Bye.
Yeah, too late.